Pro Group Management. Workers' comp that works for you.
Welcome to Nevada Newsmakers. According to the New York Times today, Blair vindicated, Bush in denial. We'll discuss those topics. Plus, Andy's got the rundown.
Sam, the Democrats have moved from New Hampshire to South Carolina as they desperately try to find a candidate who can beat President Bush at the polls. Today, we talk to Don Carlson and get a rundown of what's happening. And then Senator Reid has brought us a lot of money for roads and transportation. We talk to Derek Morse from the RTC and find out how it's going to affect that drive to work. Sam?
And coming up on the Power Pundit panel today, Bilyeu, Marlene, Lockard, and David King. It's all coming up next on the all-new Nevada Newsmakers.
Nevada Newsmakers, brought to you in part by Charter Communication.
The Abowed family has an appetite for dialogue. Agree or disagree, have the conversation. All opinions are welcome. Since 1977, Adele's.
Catch a straight, dine at 8. Lucky you. Lucky you. Dance till 1. Have some fun. Lucky you. Lucky you. Taste the shrimp. Have a sip. Try the pool. Play it cool. At the Sienna Hotel Spa Casino. Lucky you.
In business, the key to success is not the quantity of your clients, it's the quality of your clients. Almost all companies will tell you they want more sales, but what they really need are quality customers who pay their bills on time. With Employer Link's client vendor screening program, we provide comprehensive reports regarding the financial performance of your corporate prospects, customers, and vendors. Build your business with great clients and vendors. Call Employer Links today at 883-3733.
If you own a business and want to maximize your company's potential, join the Retail Association of Nevada. Our membership benefits include the Nevada Retail Network Self-Insured Group, providing workers' compensation coverage that can lower your rates. That savings can go directly to your bottom line. We are an effective pro-business organization that lobbies on behalf of our business members. The Retail Association of Nevada, protecting Nevada businesses for 35 years. Call 882-1700 to see what we can do for your organization.
This is Nevada Newsmakers with Sam Shad, political analyst Ande Engleman on No Holds Barred Political Forum. Now, from the News 4 Broadcast Center, here's Sam Shad.
Caucuses, primaries, all these numbers, what does it mean? We turn to Don Carlson, who heads up Survey Research Systems, to see if we can get some answers.
Good morning, Don. Thank you for being with us.
Good morning.
Okay, we know that Kerry won in New Hampshire, and Dean sort of took a beating. He came in, what, third? Second. And now they're on to South Carolina. Mm-hmm. And it looks as though Kerry's on a roll.
Well, I think there are two realities. One's a factual reality. Today, Kerry has 13 delegate votes and Dean has 9. And the political reality, in my opinion, Clark, Edwards, Dean better win something Tuesday.
Or they're out.
Yeah.
And that gets narrowed down to just Dean and Kerry?
Who loses and who wins Tuesday will determine, I guess, the opponent of Kerry.
All right, now, how many delegates do they need altogether in order to win the nomination to run against President Bush?
2,161, 2,161.
And the numbers we got so far, once again?
9 for Dr. Dean and 13 at this point for Senator Kerry.
So we really have a long ways to go. And aren't we changing the face of this election process now that we're moving into states like South Carolina, going from places like Iowa and New Hampshire? It's a whole different scene.
Well, Tuesday is a very different context because you have South Carolina, you have New Mexico, Arizona, Delaware, Oklahoma, North Dakota, Missouri. 5 of those states have primaries, and 2 of those states have caucuses.
And how many delegates are up?
About 269
Okay.
this coming Tuesday.
So do you think it's likely that we will be down to the final 2 at the end of this, or do you think we'll probably end up with maybe 3 or perhaps even 4?
Well, I think today Clark has a hard challenge. I think it will be interesting to see if he can survive Tuesday. If he doesn't win Tuesday, I think he's absolutely gone.
How is Howard Dean going to deal with the fact that after making campaign commercials saying that he wasn't a Washington insider, he has now hired not only a Washington insider, but a lobbyist to run his campaign?
And Gore, he was Gore's former, Vice President Gore's former.
Well, I think, you know, the Dean campaign is trying to recalibrate, now trying to reorganize, and the candidacy is trying to be repackaged. I think that's a formidable challenge.
But Don, isn't what the Dean campaign is doing now is really acting as a spoiler? They're going after Kerry in such a way that the Democrats could end up by cutting each other's throats and end up with no viable candidate to run against President Bush.
Well, I suppose that's possible. That's probably what most Republicans, activists hope. I think there's minimal probability of that. We are going to have a very close contest in November.
You think that the Democrats really have a chance to beat President Bush? I mean, we're sort of in a wartime situation, which is questionable right now.
Andy, I think there's a chasm that's opened up here in this country between Republicans and Democrats that is getting wider by the day. And I think that it's that independent vote that we talk about so often that's going to be the one. And I think the Democratic debate is very healthy. I don't think there's any problem with them going after each other because it's bringing out the characters and personalities of these people. The public is getting to know them a little bit at a time, although if you watch the late night talk shows where allegedly most people get their news these days, the number of people watching these debates is remarkably few.
That's not unusual, though, is it?
No. I think the fall debates between the 2 candidates will be, you know, viewed heavily.
When the Democrats finally settle on one.
The September-October debates, I think there are going to be 3 of them.
But answer my question, which Sam disagreed with, but isn't it possible for the Democrats to ruin their candidate as far as...
Anything's possible in politics, but I do not think that's going to happen.
Okay.
Well, and isn't that mainly because up until this point, the Democrats really haven't had a position? So at this point, we're starting to find positions being made?
Well, I'm not avoiding your question, but I want to answer it this way. An opponent's job is to oppose. And the way to oppose, I believe successfully, is to exploit the opposition's weakness. And there are, I think, certain weaknesses in the Bush presidency and the Bush candidacy, as there will be certain weaknesses, if Kerry's the nominee, in the Kerry candidacy.
Can Dean live down the scream?
No.
You think he's gone?
Hot TV is not at all going to work for him. And he had his moment of hot TV, and that moment of hot TV, he introduced himself to America. And, you know, his opponent didn't do it, he did it. And I think he's gone.
It was amazing, right there. See a man commit his candidacy suicide.
And by the same token, you saw it in the first Reagan debates when he claimed control of that microphone in New Hampshire, where at the same time he took a television moment, and that was a defining moment in that campaign. So it can go either way. But this is a fascinating process. I think it's going to be interesting to see, for example, how Al Sharpton does in
South
some of the
Carolina.
primaries. Yes.
Okay. I think there will be a vote there of some consequence, but I think the real consequence is going to be how the media interprets South Carolina. And it is either going to be Edwards' day or Clark's day relative to South Carolina, as I sense it. Now, Kerry could pull the ultimate surprise because South Carolina has 485,000 veterans and registered voters that are veterans. And South Carolina has a system of no red party registration. And so
if you're an independent, you can go in and vote.
If your philosophies R, if your philosophy's D, if your philosophy's NP, you can participate in Tuesday's primary.
We'll be watching closely, to say the least. It's turning out to be more of a sporting event.
And Edwards must win South Carolina because it's his state,
yes,
where he comes from. Okay.
This would be a good
Watch
thing.
that.
We'll take a break. Thanks, Don. We'll be right back. Going to talk about $80 million for transportation projects here in the Silver State that include some lights on Wells Avenue. We'll find out when we come back.
Atlantis is cooking up a party. It's every diner's paradise. Toucan Charlie's Buffet and Grill, voted Reno's best buffet by locals year after year. Experience the Mongolian barbecue, new Asian station, and sumptuous exhibition stations filled with fresh entrees, salads, and desserts. Try the Friday night seafood buffet and Sunday champagne brunch. Atlantis.
Would you like to savor a Trento pork chop? Or maybe pasta rags with grilled chicken? Hugo's Tuscan Grill at D'Andrea is a celebration of color, flavor, and freshness. Each dish is created from natural, wholesome foods that is delicious and nutritious. Hugo's is a comfortable restaurant with breathtaking city views. If you enjoy great food and good company, visit us here at Hugo's. It's the best that dining can be. 2900 South D'Andrea Parkway in Sparks.
Allegra is Northern Nevada's #1 offset printing and digital copying facility.
From disc to destination, Allegra utilizes tomorrow's technology today. We specialize in booklets, catalogs, manuals, newsletters, stationery, and envelopes.
Xerox, Docutech, 4-color printing with Heidelberg Speedmaster, desktop publishing and design, graphic services, pickup and delivery.
If you need printing, Allegra can do it. From disc to destination.
To experience the royal cuisine of India, you need some serious magic or simply transport yourself to India Garden, right here in Reno, where you'll discover Indian specialties refined over centuries. Seekh kebab, tandoori dishes cooked in our own tandoor oven, biryani specialties, curries, fresh-baked Indian bread, over a dozen vegetarian dishes, even dishes rare to India like dosa, South Indian-style crepes. India Garden off South Virginia near Sports West. We are India.
And now, back to Nevada Newsmakers with Sam Shad and Ande Engleman.
Back on Nevada Newsmakers, we're joined by Derek Morse. He is the Deputy Executive Director of the Regional Transportation Commission up here in the North, and we welcome you to the program as always. So I was very excited. You know, Senator Reed, as he said on this program, was not going to take this upcoming campaign lightly, and he was going to do a lot more than he did when he ran against John Ensign. And so we now are inundated with press releases about all the things that Senator Reed is doing and all the appropriations, as he likes to put it, that he steers our way. And we got a press release talking about $80 million worth of cash coming our way for transportation projects that would help with the Reno State Airport, for example, new bus and rail terminals in Reno, improvements on I-80. But the one thing that caught my attention was...
And that was last week.
Yes, this was last week. We're lighting on Wells Avenue. How did that, you know, why is the federal government worrying about lighting on Wells Avenue? Not that I'm against lighting on Wells Avenue. My office is off Wells Avenue.
Well, there has been an effort in the community to revitalize the Wells Avenue area, and of course over the last couple of years you've been covering some of the controversies as they have tried out different things with traffic and so forth out there, and they are now closing in on what they finally want to do out there. And one of the things, aside from the pavement and the sidewalks and everything else, there are some kind of finishing touches, if you will, streetscape and lighting and things that the money just wasn't there to kind of do some of these fine touches, and the senator and the other members of the delegation supporting that stepped in to get some money so that the product wouldn't just be functionally excellent, but would also have some beauty and kind of boost the neighborhood further. And I think it's a strategic investment. It's a small fraction of that total project, but certainly it's going to add value to it.
Jim Gibbons got a lot of heat for pork and sparks with money to refurbish a swimming pool. Do you think Senator Reed's going to get the same kind of press?
Well, I don't really think so, and I won't comment on the heat that Representative Gibbons got. I thought some of that was quite frankly unfair, but
I agree.
You know, the lighting, that's a safety issue for pedestrians, for traffic. I mean, it's an important thing, and infrastructure doesn't stand alone. It's integrated into the community. It has a purpose, and in this purpose, it's an important part of boosting the economic vitality of that neighborhood. I think it's a sound investment and will pay itself back many times over.
One of the things that I have concern about when we talk about cutting traffic down to just 2 lanes, one in each direction, which would be beneficial in some ways to businesses there, perhaps. But during road construction right now on Wells Avenue, when we're down to one lane, we have another interesting byproduct. It's called traffic backing up. Is it a good thing for us to reduce the size of roads when we need to accommodate so much more in the way of traffic?
Well, you know, it's always an issue, and you've got some legitimate competing interests here. We do need to move traffic in the community. Everyone has told us they don't want congestion to get any worse, that they don't want it to become like, you name the city, Las Vegas, LA, that type of thing. And yet we do have to balance some of the other things in the neighborhoods in terms of the safety of pedestrians, the business interests, and there's been a very healthy debate about that on Wells Avenue. And I think that the solutions that they are moving towards now allow us in the future, as needed, to perhaps add some additional capacity in that corridor. It will be carefully monitored, and keep in mind that's one road out of many. We've got other things going on, such as our bus rapid transit project and other things that will give us north-south capacity in some other areas that can help overall offset some of these changes that we're making in that corridor.
There's some money in here that does pertain to buses, and I know that the people in Fallon have been desperate and Fernley to get a bus to Reno. Will that now come to fruition? Will that possibly happen?
There are no funds in this particular program for buses out to Fallon and Fernley, at least no money that would be coming to the RTC. Rural transportation has always been an issue, and it's a conundrum. Everyone would like to see it happen. It's relatively speaking quite expensive to do. One of the issues that we have in the state is that when the federal money, when the feds give you money, you have to have some local money to match it to some degree. It might be 5 or 10 or 20%.
I have the solution, Derek. I have the solution. Minivans. And then when they get packed, go to larger vehicles. But you know, something that seats about 8 or 9 people.
And that's an excellent point. And that is indeed how most of the rural transportation is being run. They do start out with vans, and then as they see more ridership, they graduate to something that has more capacity, such as our Pride service between here and Carson City. But it's very difficult. And as I said, you know, the rural counties have a tough time coming up with even a few $100,000 annually to match the federal money in there. And that's an issue that is being discussed in the state legislature. I'm not sure what the outcome will be, but I think over time there will be some further concern about this.
Okay, just quickly, how much of this money is going to mean that the roads are torn up for construction this summer?
Well, keep in mind, we
have 2 seasons, winter and construction.
I know.
That's it.
I know.
I think the important thing to understand is that this year we almost didn't get there. This was a long time coming. It was a tough bill to get through. I think the delegation did a great job. There are formula funds that come in that aren't directed towards any specific projects. That's between $200 and $300 million annually, spread out through the entire state. That money will go to repairing the interstate, to doing, you know, things in those areas.
We're going to see a lot of construction this summer.
Well, you will.
Just yes or no?
You will. We're
I believe that's a yes. I translated that.
You certainly will. We're a growing community. This is necessary.
And we're growing out of this segment. We got to go. We'll be right back on Nevada Newsmakers out of this timeout.
Before you head to Carson, take care of yourself with a visit to Tamarack Junction. Catch a hot cup of coffee and the morning news on one of our 32 TVs and enjoy the best food in South Reno. Tamarack Junction, your junction for fun. South Virginia and Amati Ranch Parkway.
Has an appetite for dialogue. Agree or disagree, have the conversation. All opinions are welcome. Since 1977, Adele's.
Your home is an expression of all things comforting and familiar. For custom storage, you can count on California Closets to provide quality, value, and design integrity. The process is easy, combining your personal style with our organizing expertise. We care about what matters most to you, making your home functional and beautiful. California Closets, simplifying home and life since 1978. Call today for your complimentary design consultation.
When you sign up for Wells Fargo free checking, you get more than free checking. you get the freedom to bank when and where you want. Wells Fargo, the next stage.
Make your daily commute easy with breakfast or lunch at the Tamarack Junction. Enjoy daily specials, super fast service, and South Reno's freshest morning meals. Tamarack Junction, your junction for fun. South Virginia and Amati Ranch Parkway.
And now, back to Nevada Newsmakers with Sam Shad and Ande Engleman.
And back on Nevada Newsmakers, great pundit panel today for you. As always, Bilyeu is here. He's an attorney. Marlene Lockard is here, and she runs Capital Strategies. And David King is a showbiz producer.
Good morning.
A buddy of mine from England, and he produces Spirit of a Dance and Broadway at the El Dorado.
And what great shows they are, if I may say. See that you didn't.
Commercial. You go one more second, you have to pay for that.
Okay.
Let's start off with you because in the last 24 hours there has been turmoil at the BBC, British Broadcasting Corporation, which has been, a rock-solid news organization in its entire history, one of the most trusted news organizations. And now it's come forward that the fact that a story that they wrote about, a year ago was completely false. And they were accusing the Prime Minister of all kinds of nefarious dealings as far as Iraq and weapons of mass destruction. What's your thoughts on this?
I think it's an outrageous, corrupt report. It is diabolical. It's all about the war in Iraq. And we had a weapons inspector called Dr. David Kelly, who sadly died, supposedly commit suicide. Other people thought he was murdered. That's another story. He came out and said there are no weapons of mass destructions in Iraq. What's this all about? Why are we going to war? Tony Blair and the British government backed what we know now is the false information given to him by your wonderful president and government from here. And as far as the English people are concerned, the whole basis of the war in Iraq was based on a fraud by the American government, who came over to England and got hold of Tony Blair, who is a puppy dog and loves George Bush and loves America, and filled him with this information, which was clearly wrong, because there was no imminent threat. There was no weapons of mass destruction ready to destroy the world, which is what your government made our government believe.
Okay, Bill, is it the president or is it the CIA and the other spy agencies that had the problem here?
Well, it's not the president. It's basically just about every intelligence agency in the world. Because if you recall, how many resolutions were there by the United Nations concerning the weapons of mass destruction? Saddam Hussein basically said, "To hell with you," and disobeyed each and every one of those.
I don't think he did. I don't think he did.
Let me finish,
there was
please.
Inspectors in there. You're completely wrong. They were in there. Well, hang on.
Let me finish. Sorry, shut your mouth off. The other thing is that just about every intelligence agency in the world at that time believed that Saddam Hussein had or was developing weapons of mass destruction. That was uniform.
Except for France.
Except for France and Germany for their own, and they were supplying a great deal of the arms to Iraq.
My concern is what this does for our credibility in the future, both within the United States and our own citizenry, and also in the global world with other countries. If we have future threats that rely on intelligence information, I fear that if there is real substance to it, we will not be able to garner the internal support of the country, let alone support from other countries after this debacle.
David, how do you think the British people will react if President Bush is defeated in this election next year?
To be honest, we don't quite understand all the electrical comings and goings here. What we do know is that England was taken into a war on false pretenses. And it's almost cost our Prime Minister his job, and probably will. It's all right for you to say, sir, that there was all this various intelligence, but even if the intelligence was there, which I say it wasn't there, we know it wasn't there, based on the intelligence that was available, you do not cause World War III and cause trillions of dollars worth of damage, murder innocent people who had done nothing to American people or English people. Yes, Saddam Hussein should have been toppled, and there's nobody happier than me that he's gone. And believe me, if I'd have found him in his hide-and-seek hole, I'd have put a gun through his head, because that's what he needed. And it's wonderful that he's gone. But on the information that was available, surely a mass war was ridiculous.
A very surgical war, as a matter of fact, and it's interesting.
Hardly say surgical. Loss of life. Americans dying today.
Let him have his quick say.
Since we have gone into Iraq, what has happened? We have obviously toppled a brutal dictator that was responsible for killing millions of his own people. Number two, all of a sudden Syria is talking to us about some sort of rapprochement. Number three, Libya is now disarming its weapons of mass destruction. Now
all good stuff. I agree with all of that.
That is the effect of doing what is right and what is responsible.
Go to war on the correct information. Yes, get rid of him. Yes, get rid of all that nonsense.
How do you get rid of violent dictators without the use of force? What do you do? Pass resolutions that you do not enforce, like the United Nations did?
Maybe you send 100 of your best guys in and try and knock him off. I don't know. But to completely devastate a country, put thousands of American and British lives at risk. Not saying that it's not a good thing at the end of the day.
Okay, they're going to continue talking, and we're going to go to a break here because we're out of time. Marlene, we'll have you back because we want to get your voice in there too. We'll be right back on Nevada Newsmakers.
It's America's largest historical district, and it's fun for the entire family. Virginia City is where the West comes alive every day, from train rides to gunslingers. Your gang can explore mines and interesting museums, visit historic saloons, and do some great shopping. Virginia City is the ultimate in family entertainment, and it's very affordable. Come up and stay overnight in our hotels, motels, and RV park. Virginia City, the Wild West at its best.
I tell you, John, this industry has really changed.
Tell me about it.
You seemed to do pretty well last year. What's your secret?
No secrets. Although I'll tell you something. The smartest thing I did was sign up with Pro Group Management.
Really? Yeah, they do workers' comp, right?
Yeah, their services are great. And get this, they saved me 30%. I've heard they saved others 50%.
That works for me.
Pro Group Management. Finally, workers' comp that works for you.
Atlantis is cooking up a party. It's every diner's paradise. Toucan Charlie's Buffet and Grill, voted Reno's best buffet by locals year after year. Experience the Mongolian barbecue, new Asian station, and sumptuous exhibition stations filled with fresh entrees, salads, and desserts. Try the Friday night seafood buffet and Sunday champagne brunch.
Atlantis.
When you sign up for Wells Fargo free checking, you get more than free checking. You get the freedom to bank when and where you want. Wells Fargo, the next stage.
Nevada Newsmakers, brought to you in part by Charter Communication.
And coming up Sunday morning, you can catch all 4 episodes of Nevada Newsmakers on KOH from 9 to 11.
That's 7:80 a.m. And thank you for watching.